The rain hammered the roof like 1,000 accusations, each drop a reminder of secrets too heavy to hold. "Kyle, I never meant to." Wesley's voice cracked, but I shoved him back, my fist clenched around the crumpled letter that had spilled everything. In that split second, as lightning cracked the sky, I saw my father's ghost in his eyes, the man who'd trusted him like a brother, now betrayed by the one person I'd let break my walls. I remember the exact moment the world tilted on its axis. But let's back up to the night it all started, because that's when the storm clouds began to gather over our quiet corner of Elmwood, Ohio. It was a sticky August evening in 2015, the kind where the air clings to your skin like regret, and the cicadas screamed their symphony from the oaks lining our cul-de-sac. Dad had been gone 6 months, cancer, quick and merciless, the kind that doesn't give you time to say goodbye. He'd left behind a house that echoed with his absence, the leather recliner still dented from his weight, the garage full of half-finished woodworking projects. And me, Kyle Harlan, 22 and adrift, trying to piece together a life that felt like it had been sanded down to splinters. I was home from my sophomore year at Ohio State, majoring in graphic design because it let me hide behind screens and colors, avoiding the black and white truths of the world. Buckeyes football was on the TV, but I wasn't watching. I was nursing a beer on the front porch, sketching aimless lines in my notebook, when Dad's old Ford rumbled into the driveway. Not Dad, of course, his best friend, Wesley Grant, stepping out like he'd just driven in from one of those classic rock anthems Dad used to blast on road trips. Wesley was the Ian to Dad's Yang, where Dad was broad-shouldered and boisterous, a high school history teacher with a laugh that filled rooms. Wesley was lean and quiet, a freelance photographer who'd chased sunsets from the Grand Canyon to the streets of New York. They'd met in the Army back in '92, bonded over MREs and bad jokes, and stayed thick as thieves ever since. Wesley had been at the funeral, standing stone-faced in his black button-down, but he hadn't stuck around after. "Life pulls you," he said later. "Deadlines, shoots, the endless chase." "Kyle, kiddo," he called out, slinging a duffel over his shoulder, his voice carrying that gravelly timbre from too many Marlboros and late nights. He looked good, better than good, if I'm honest. Mid-40s, with salt and pepper hair cropped close, a jawline that could cut glass, and eyes the color of aged whiskey, warm but holding shadows. He wore faded Levi's and a Henley that hugged his chest just right, sleeves rolled up to show forearms roped with muscle from hauling camera gear. "Your old man would have skinned me alive if I didn't crash here on my way through." I stood, brushing sawdust from my jeans, Dad's old work jeans, too big but comforting, and forced a grin. "Wes, been too long." Dad's bars stocked. "Come on in." We shook hands, his grip firm, lingering a beat too long, and something electric zipped up my arm. I chalked it up to the humidity, the beer, the loneliness that had been gnawing at me like a bad habit. Inside, the house smelled of pine cleaner and faint cigar smoke, ghosts in the air. Wesley dropped his bag by the couch, cracked open a Coors, and we settled into the living room, the game droning in the background. He asked about school, my sketches. I asked about his latest gig, some wedding in Napa, vineyards golden under California sun. "You look like him, you know," Wesley said after a while, tilting his bottle my way. His gaze was steady, praising, like he was framing a shot. "Same eyes. That Harlan fire. But you've got your mom's cheekbones, softens it up." I laughed, but it came out tight. Mom had bailed when I was 10, chasing a yoga instructor to Sedona. Yeah, well, fire's all I've got left. Place feels like a museum without him. He nodded, slow, and set his beer down. Miss him every damn day. We were gonna road trip the Blues Highway next summer. Now, he trailed off, rubbing his jaw. Listen, Kyle, I know this ain't easy. But if you need anything, talk. Alone. A stiff drink. I'm your guy. For him, there it was, that pull again. Gratitude mixed with something sharper, unnamed. We talked late into the night, stories spilling out like whiskey, Dad's pranks in basic training, the time Wesley talked him out of buying a '72 Mustang sight unseen. By midnight, the game's over, and Wesley's yawning, but neither of us moves. Finally, he claps my shoulder, warm, solid, and heads to the guest room upstairs. I lie awake in my childhood bed, posters of indie bands peeling at the edges, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. My mind wanders to the sketch I'd abandoned, a silhouette against a stormy sky, arms outstretched. Attraction? Nah, couldn't be. He was Dad's age, practically family. But sleep comes fitful, dreams tangled with flashes of whiskey eyes and calloused hands. Morning breaks humid and golden, coffee brewing in the kitchen like an old ritual. Wesley's already up, fiddling with his camera on the counter, a beat-up Nikon that looks like it's seen wars. Pancakes? He asks, grinning as he flips one with theatrical flair. Your dad swore by my batter. Secret's buttermilk and a dash of vanilla. We eat at the scarred oak table, sunlight slanting through the blinds, and it's easy, domestic, too easy. He shows me shots from his phone. Misty fjords in Alaska, neon-soaked alleys in Tokyo. World's big, Kyle. Don't let this town clip your wings. I snort. Wings? I'm barely flapping. Got a part-time gig at the print shop, but rent's killing me come fall. He leans in. Fork paused. What do you want? Not what they expect. What sets your soul on fire? The question hits like a gut punch. I want to say art that matters. A life without the weight of loss. Someone who sees me, not the ghost of my father. But I mumble, dunno. Stability, maybe. Wesley's laugh is low, rumbling. Stability's a cage, kid. Chase the spark. By afternoon, we're out in the backyard. Dad's old hammock swaying between two elms. Wesley's got his camera, insisting on candid portraits for my portfolio. Come on, Harlan. Give me that brooding artist vibe. I pose awkwardly at first, then loosen up, laughing as he directs. Tilt your chin. Yeah, like you're daring the lens to look away. Click after click. His focus intense. Praising the light on my jaw. The way shadows play in my collarbone. Heat rises, not just the sun. And when he shows me the shots later, raw and unfiltered, I see myself through his eyes. Not broken, but alive. Electric. That night, after burgers on the grill and a six-pack of IPAs, the conversation turns deeper. We're on the porch again, fireflies winking like secrets in the dark. Wesley opens up about his own losses. A divorce 5 years back. No kids. The road as his only constant. Love's a gamble, Kyle. Sometimes you fold too early. I sip my beer, heart thudding. You ever regret not settling? His eyes meet mine, holding. Every day. But regrets just fuel if you let it be. The air thickens, charged. I want to ask about the shadows in his gaze, the way his hand brushes mine when he passes the lighter. Instead, I stand abruptly. Good night, Wes. Upstairs. The guest room doors ajar, a sliver of lamplight spilling out. I pause, pulse racing, and knock softly. He's shirtless, towel around his waist from a shower, water droplets tracing paths down his chest, scars faint from some old adventure, a tattoo of a compass rose on his ribs. Kyle? Everything all right? Yeah. Just thanks. For today. He steps closer, the scent of soap and sandalwood hitting me. Anytime, his voice drops, husky. Our eyes lock, and for a heartbeat, the world narrows to the space between us, 2 inches, a lifetime. Then he clears his throat, steps back. Sleep well. I bolt to my room, door slamming, breath ragged. What the hell was that? He's Dad's friend. Off limits. But as I strip down and slide under the sheets, my body hums, mind replaying the almost touch, the heat in his stare. Sleep evades me, replaced by fantasies I shouldn't indulge. His hands on my skin, lips claiming mine under the stars. The next day dawns with purpose. Wesley's heading out at noon, shoot in Chicago, but insists on a detour to the lake. One last memory, he says, tossing me the keys to his truck. We drive the winding back roads, windows down, Springsteen blasting Thunder Road. The lake's a mirror of blue, ringed by pines, and we hike to a secluded overlook, packs with sandwiches and beers. There, on a weathered blanket, we eat and talk, really talk. I confess the isolation of college, the hookups that feel empty, the fear of never finding my place. I'm gay, Wes. Always knew, but Dad, he never knew. Or if he did, he never said. He doesn't flinch, just nods. Your dad was a good man. He'd have loved you fierce, Kyle. All of you. His hand covers mine then, deliberate, thumb stroking my knuckle. And you deserve someone who sees that fire. My breath catches. What if? It's closer than I think. The words hang, bold and terrifying. Wesley's eyes darken, conflict flickering. He leans in, slow, giving me time to pull away. I don't. Our lips meet, soft at first, tentative, then hungry, his beard scraping my chin, hands cupping my face like I'm fragile, precious. It's fireworks and rain, the kiss tasting of salt and possibility. When we break, gasping, he murmurs, "This is dangerous, Kyle." I'm not. Don't, I whisper. Just this once. We don't go further, not yet, but the dam's cracked. Back home, he packs with lingering glances, promises to text, to visit. As his taillights fade down the street, I touch my lips, world irrevocably shifted. Trust? It's a fragile thing, but in that moment, I dive in headfirst. Little did I know, the letter waiting in his duffel would shatter it all. The weeks blurred into a haze of pixels and longing after Wesley left. My phone became a lifeline, texts pinging at odd hours, his from some windswept coast or bustling city square. Shot a sunrise over Lake Michigan. Made me think of your sketches. One read, attached a photo of fiery oranges bleeding into blue, my name watermarked in the corner like a secret. I'd reply with doodles, quick sketches of urban grit or starry nights, and he'd call them soul-stirring. His voice over the line rough with fatigue but laced with warmth that pooled low in my gut. Fall semester kicked off back in Columbus, the campus alive with crimson leaves and the roar of game day crowds. I threw myself into classes, typography, digital illustration, using the rhythm to drown out the what-ifs. What if that kiss was a fluke? What if he regretted it? But then came the voice notes. Him humming Dylan tunes on a rainy drive through the Smokies, confessing how the road felt lonelier now. Miss that porch talk, Harlan. Miss you. By October, it escalated. A weekend shoot in Cincinnati, just 2 hours south. Detour, he texted. I drove down Friday night, heart hammering like a bass drum, meeting him at a dive bar off the riverfront, neon signs buzzing, air thick with fry grease and jukebox blues. He looked road-worn in a wool jacket, scarf loose around his neck, but his smile lit the dim booth when I slid in. Couldn't stay away, he admitted over whiskeys, our knees brushing under the table. We talked for hours, his failed marriage to a gallery curator who'd craved stability he couldn't give, my fumbling coming out to a roommate who'd turned supportive in the end. Laughter came easy, then quiet confessions, the isolation of being the confirmed bachelor in Dad's circle, the hookups that left him hollow. You're different, Kyle. Real. Makes me want to plant roots. We ended up at his motel, the Ohio River murmuring outside the window. No rush this time, clothes shed slow, reverent, his hands mapping my body like a landscape he'd photographed 1,000 times. Scars and freckles, the curve of my hip, the tattoo I'd gotten on a dare, a small compass on my wrist, mirroring his. Lovemaking was tender, intense. His mouth on my neck, fingers threading hair, bodies sinking in a rhythm that felt like coming home. Afterward, tangled in sheets that smelled of him, I traced his compass rose. Where's it point you now? He kissed my temple. North. Always north, to you. That weekend stretched into stolen moments. Drives through Hocking Hills, fog-shrouded forests where we'd hike hand in hand, pausing for kisses against mossy trunks. He'd critique my portfolio over diner coffee, suggesting bolder contrasts, deeper shadows. You've got it, kid, that raw edge. Don't hide it. And in bed, vulnerability cracked open. Him admitting the divorce left him terrified of love, me whispering fears of abandonment echoing Mom's ghost. By Thanksgiving, he was back in Elmwood, uninvited, but Dad's old recliner waited like it knew. We cooked turkey in the cramped kitchen, jazz on the radio, his hip bumping mine as we mashed potatoes. That night, fire crackling in the hearth, we made love on the rug, slow and deep, his whispers of "I love you" slipping out like a prayer. I echoed it back, believing, the word blooming warm in my chest. But cracks spiderwebbed early. Wesley's calls grew sporadic, shoots in Seattle, a family wedding in Boston. It's the life, he'd say, apologetic. I nodded, understanding, but doubt gnawed. Late-night scrolls through his Instagram, polished shots of sunsets and strangers, no trace of me. Just professional, he assured during a FaceTime, his hotel room backdrop sterile and alone. You're my anchor, Kyle. Christmas brought him back, snow blanketing Elmwood like forgiveness. We strung lights on the tree, his stories of army Christmases pulling laughs from me. Gifts exchanged by firelight, a leather-bound sketchbook from him, inscribed, for the artist who captures hearts. From me, a custom photo album of our moments, snaps I'd taken on borrowed phone, candid and cherished. "This is us," I said, voice thick. Real. New Year's Eve. We drove to the lake again, champagne fizzing under stars. Fireworks popped distant over Columbus, but our own sparked hotter, passionate, urgent, bodies slick with lake mist. "Future," he murmured against my skin. "You and me. Ditch the road. Settle here. Open a studio, your designs, my lens." I clung to that promise. Vision of mornings tangled in his arms, evenings sketching side by side. But January chilled everything. A week of radio silence after a Denver gig. My texts piled up, unanswered. Panic clawed. Had he bolted like mom? Then, a call at 2 a.m., his voice wrecked. "Kyle, God, I'm sorry. Flight delay." Then, "Family stuff. Talk to me," I begged. A pause. Heavy. "Later." "Trust me." I did. Always. Spring thawed the ground, but not the unease. Wesley visited twice, quick, intense weekends that left me aching for more. Arguments simmered. "You're half in," I'd accuse. Him countering with, "This life's chaos, but you're my constant." Reconciliations were fire, sex that bordered on desperate. Words of forever gasped in the afterglow. Graduation loomed. My cap and gown, a milestone Dad would have toasted. Wesley promised to come, but a last-minute shoot in LA derailed it. "Proxy hug via video?" he joked, but it stung. I walked the stage alone, diploma in hand, scanning the crowd for whiskey eyes that weren't there. That night, alone in my dorm, I found the letter. It had slipped from a package he'd sent. Portfolio prints, thoughtful as ever. But tucked inside, folded crisp, was an envelope addressed to him in elegant script. Curiosity one. I steamed it open over a kettle, heart pounding. "Dear Wes," it began, "I know we said we'd end it clean, but seeing you last month. I miss us. The gallery's thriving. Come home. We were good together. Love, Elena." Elena. His ex. The curator. Dated 6 months ago? My vision blurred. Texts replayed. Family wedding. Hers? The Boston trip. And the silences. Her. Betrayal hit like ice water. I dialed him, voicemail beeping cold. "We're done, Wes. Found your love letter. Don't call." He called back frantic. "Kyle, wait. It's not." But I hung up. World fracturing. Trust. That fragile bloom. Withered overnight. Summer dragged. Elmwood's heat mirroring my rage. I avoided the house. Crashing at a friend's. Drowning in freelance gigs and dive bar nights. When Wesley showed unannounced, duffel slung, I's pleading, I let him in, if only to scream. "You lied." I spat. Letter thrust at him. "All those promises. While you were playing house with her?" He deflated, sinking to the couch. "It was a relapse. Weak moment. But you, Kyle, you're the one." I ended it. For real. Tears burned. "How do I believe that? You were Dad's brother. My rock. And you shatter me?" He reached, but I recoiled. "Because I love you." Messy. Terrified. But true. "Let me prove it." I wanted to. God. I did. but the wound festered. We circled for days. Tense silences, half apologies, a kiss that tasted of salt and second chances. Sex followed, raw and reclaiming, but doubt lingered like smoke. Then, the real bomb, Elena called. He's mine, Kyle. Always comes back. I confronted him, voice breaking. Is it true? Wesley's face crumpled. I went to her after Denver. Needed to end it face to face. But I chose you, lies layered on lies. I packed his bag, shoved it at the door. Get out. Before you destroy what's left of me. He left, rain lashing his truck, taillights blurring into night. Alone, I curled on Dad's recliner, sobs racking. Trust gone, a casualty of love's battlefield. Months clawed by in a fog of reconstruction. Fall 2016 found me back in Columbus, but changed harder edges, sketches darker, laced with jagged lines and shadowed figures. Freelance bloomed into a junior role at a boutique agency downtown, branding for local craft breweries, logos that popped like the IPAs they advertised. Work was armor, 9-to-5 grind filling the voids Wesley had carved. Nights, I hit the scene Ohio State's gay bar strip, thumping bass and strobe lights where bodies pressed close but hearts stayed locked. Hookups were mechanical. A barista with tattoos snaking his arms, a grad student with poet's eyes. They'd whisper sweet nothings, but I'd wake hollow, comparing stubble to Wesley's beard, grips to his sure hands. You're intense, one said, slipping out at dawn. Intense. Haunted. Betrayed. Elmwood calls pulled me home weekends. Dad's house now mine. Mortgage a noose but memories a tether. I'd tinker in the garage, finishing his birdhouses, varnishing wood that smelled of him. Letters from Wesley piled unopened in a shoebox. Handwritten pleas. Photos enclosed. Us at the lake. Blurred but blissful. I'm clean, Kyle. Therapy. Sobriety from the road. Come back. I burned one batch in the fire pit. Ashes swirling like regrets. Thanksgiving hit brutal. Agency holiday party first. Eggnog flowing. Colleagues toasting to breakthroughs. Mine was a near miss with the creative director. A silver fox named Mark who cornered me by the mistletoe. You've got fire, Harlan, he murmured, lips brushing my ear. Tempting, stable. No baggage. But I ghosted, driving home through sleet. Elmwood's lights a lonely constellation. Family dinner was solo. Turkey thawed in the microwave. Netflix droning. Halfway through, a knock, persistent, like fate's fist. Wesley on the porch, snow-dusted jacket, breath fogging the air. Older, leaner, eyes etched with lines I didn't remember. Kyle, not a question, a plea. I crossed arms, door half shut. What? 5 minutes. Please. Against better judgment, I let him in. Kitchen table, coffee steaming black. He looked wrecked. Quit smoking, he said. Therapy twice weekly. Shelved the camera for a steady gig editing stock photos remote. Building roots. For you, lies or growth? Why now? Because losing you gutted me. Made me face the coward. The man who ran from love because it scared him shitless. His voice cracked. Elena was safety. Habit. You're the risk worth taking. I wanted to rage. To shove him out. Instead, tears pricked. You broke me, Wes. Trust isn't a switch. He nodded, hands open. I know. But let me earn it. Slow. Friends first. Friends. The word stung, but I agreed. Tentative truce. Texts resumed. Innocuous at first. Weather and work. Then deeper, him sharing therapy breakthroughs. Me venting agency politics. A lunch in Columbus. Neutral ground. A deli with pastrami that dripped like old wounds reopening. He was different, grounded, listening without the restless energy. Proud of you, he'd say, eyes crinkling. That brewery logo? Genius. Flattery? Or genuine? My walls crumbled brick by brick. Christmas Eve. He invited me to his new place. A modest bungalow on Elmwood's edge. Christmas lights twinkling like hesitant stars. No strings, he promised. Inside, pine scent and jazz. A tree adorned with army dog tags and my old sketches framed on walls. Dinner was rib sticking, prime rib, Yorkshire puddles, his mom's recipe. Wine flowed easy, laughter freer. Post-dinner, by the fire, he pulled a gift, a vintage Nikon, compact, mine to keep. For your eye. Capture what I can't. I unwrapped slow, throat tight. Mine for him, a leather bracelet, compass embossed. Direction, I said. If you want it, he fastened it. Fingers lingering on my wrist, our tattoo twins. The air hummed, charged. Kyle, I leaned in first, kiss soft, testing. He responded gentle, hands framing my face. No rush. It built, clothes shedding like old skin, bodies rediscovering rhythms. On his bed, flannel sheets, we moved with care, explorations, whispers, climaxes that shattered and soothed. Afterward, curled against his chest, heartbeat sinking, I murmured, "This scares me." "Me too," he admitted. "But worth it." New Year dawned hopeful. We dated, properly, cautiously. Weekends at the lake, sketching en plein air while he snapped candids. Dinners at hole-in-the-wall Tacarius, his knee against mine under Formica. Vulnerability seeped. His fears of aging out of youth, my dread of repeating dad's solitude. Sex evolved, playful mornings, intense nights, always laced with "I love you"s that felt earned. Spring brought blooms and bumps. Agency promotion, lead designer, salary bump funding a down payment on dad's house. Wesley cheered loudest, toasting with craft IPAs on the porch. But shadows lingered, his phone buzzing late. Old client, to flinch, accuse. Trust takes time, he'd soothe, pulling me close. Then, the gift, a weekend in Chicago, his treat. Windy City whirlwind, Art Institute wanderings, deep dish debates, rooftop bar with skyline views. Hotel room overlooked the lake, and there, under city glow, he dropped to one knee, not ring, but a key. Move in, build this. Tears, joy, terror. Yes, summer solidified us. Bungalow became home. My sketches on easels, his prints pinned like promises. Friends met him, cautious nods, then approvals. He's solid, my roommate said post-barbecue. Even Elmwood whispered acceptance. Neighbors waving, no side eyes. But autumn winds carried whispers. Package arrived, Elena's return address. Curiosity killed caution. I opened it. Photos, her and Wesley, recent, smiling at a gallery opening, arms linked. A note. He told me about you. But we both know he always circles back. Heart in throat. I confronted him that night. Dinner cold on plates. His face ashen. Kyle, it's nothing. Nothing. I hurled the pics. This is months ago. After a work event, he stammered. She cornered me. I swear, it's over. Doubt roared. Lies again? I can't. Please. He grabbed my hands. Therapy. Remember, I'm fighting for us. I pulled away, storming out into crisp night. Drove aimless, ending at the lake, our spot, waves lapping like accusations. Hours later, headlights pierced dark, him, soaked from rain, eyes wild. You're my north, Kyle. Don't make me chase alone. We talked till dawn, raw, ugly. His relapse, a weeknight, drinks leading to talk. No more. I hate that part of me. But I choose you. Every day. Forgiveness or fool's hope. I chose belief. Fragile as new ice. Winter wrapped us tighter. Holidays blended families. His sister in from Denver, toasting our mismatched perfection. Agency thrived. Wesley's editing gig stabilized. Talks of a joint studio bubbling. But the letter, the real detonator, arrived Valentine's. Mailed to the house. My name scrawled. Inside, Dad's handwriting, shaky from chemo days. Kyle, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Wesley's been my rock. But son, there's more. He and I, we shared things. Not just stories. Be careful with him. Love always. Dad. Shared things? My stomach dropped. Army flashbacks? Or Wesley found me on the floor. Letter clutched. What is it? I thrust it at him. Voice hollow. Tell me. Everything. His face drained. Silence stretched eternal. The kitchen clock ticked like a countdown to oblivion, each second amplifying the roar in my ears. Wesley sat across from me, the letter between us like a live wire, his hands trembling as he smoothed it flat. Dad's words, those final, cryptic strokes, hung in the air, poisoning the space we'd so carefully rebuilt. Kyle, he started, voice barely above a whisper. I never wanted you to know. Not like this. Know what? I demanded, though dread coiled tight in my gut. The bungalow felt claustrophobic, walls closing in with ghosts I'd thought buried. Outside, a February gale howled, rattling windows like Dad's laugh echoing judgment. Wesley exhaled slow, eyes dropping to the table, scarred from our lazy Sunday brunches, now a battlefield. Your dad and I, back in the army, it wasn't just brotherhood. There were nights, booze, fear, the edge of deployment. We crossed lines, experimented. It was survival, Kyle. Clinging to something human in hell, my world inverted. Dad, the man who'd coached Little League, grilled burgers with neighbors, never once hinted at this gay, bi, hidden, you. And him, when, once, maybe twice. 93, before discharge. We swore it off. Life waited stateside. Wives, jobs, the straight script. He met my gaze. Bro. Then your mom left. He spiraled. I pulled him out. But it stayed buried. Until the cancer. I stood, chair scraping harsh. The letters. The visits. While he was sick, Wesley flinched. Not like that. Emotional. He was scared. Alone. Confided things he couldn't with anyone else, including me loving you. He knew, Kyle. Saw it before I did. Warned me, don't hurt my boy. Your family. Betrayal layered threefold. Wesley's lies with Elena. Now this, Dad's secret life. His warning unheeded. Family, I spat. You fucked his best friend. Then his son. Some legacy. It's not. He rose, reaching. I backed away, chest heaving. Don't. Just. Now. He left without protest. Door clicking soft behind him. I sank to the floor. Letter clutched. Sobs ripping free. Dad's voice in my head. Be careful. Not judgment, protection. He'd loved Wesley enough to hide. To shield me from the cycle. Days blurred into numbness. I called in sick to the agency. Sketches abandoned. Fridge raided for midnight binges. Friends checked in, texts from Mark. The director. Heard you're ghosting. Coffee? I ignored. Burrowing deeper. Elmwood's winter grip tight. Isolation a mirror to my soul. On day 4. A knock. Persistent. Not Wesley. My aunt. Dad's sister. Bundled in pilled wool. Your neighbor called. Said you look like hell. She bustled in. Thermos of soup steaming. No nonsense as Dad. We sat at the table. Her prying gentle. Spill. Kid. Harlan men bottle till they burst. Words tumbled. Wesley. The love. The lies. The letter. She listened. I softening. Your dad. He was complicated. Loved fierce. Hid deeper. After your mom. He dated quiet women. Sure. But whispers of more. Never shamed him. But cancer-stripped illusions, he told me about Wesley. My anchor, he called him. Forgave the mess because it made him human. I wiped my face. Why warn me? Love blinds. Kyle. He saw Wesley's patterns running, relapsing. Wanted you whole. She left with a hug. Promise of pie next week. Solitude returned. But cracked. Phone buzzing with Wesley's voicemails. I'm here. Whenever. I deleted. But one slipped through. I loved him. Kyle. His friend. More once. But you're my everything. Don't let my ghost steal us. Therapy started Monday. A queer-affirming counselor in Columbus. Rainbow flag on her wall like permission. Sessions peeled layers. Grief for Dad's hidden self. Rage at Wesley's omissions. Shame in my own blindness. Trust rebuilds, she said. But only if both commit. Spring teased green shoots, mirroring tentative growth. Agency demanded. A pitch for a nonprofit LGBTQ youth center branding. Ironic twist. I poured in vibrant colors, bold icons of intertwined hands. Tagline roots in the storm. It landed. Client tears at presentation. Mark clapped my back. You're unstoppable. Harlan. Wesley sightings. Glimpses at the grocery. His truck parked curbside. He kept distance. Eyes pleading from afar. One rainy afternoon, I found a package on the porch. My Nikon, loaded with film. Note attached, capture your truth. I shot compulsively. Elmwood's thawing streets. Faces of strangers. Joy. Weariness. Love's quiet forms. Prints developed at a campus lab. hung on bungalow walls like affirmations. May bloomed conflict. Aunt's invite. Memorial Day barbecue at her farm. Bring who you want. Wesley showed, invited by her. The traitor. He wore plaid, hair tousled, helping with grills like old times. Our eyes met across the yard. Spark lingered. Painful. Post-meal. Hay bales for seats. He sidled up. You look good. Strong. Therapy helps. Neutral ground. He nodded. Me too. Group for photographers, addicts to the chase. Learning to stay. Kids chased fireflies. Aunt's stories wove nostalgia. As dusk fell, he murmured, "Miss this." Us. Me too. Admission slipped. A walk to the pond. Fireflies dancing like possibilities. I'm sorry, he said. For all of it. Dad. Elena. The silences. I hid because I feared losing you. Like I lost him. I stopped. Water lapping. Dad loved you. Enough to warn me. That's the betrayal, not you loving him once. But you not trusting me with truth. He cupped my face. Rain fresh. I do now. All of it. Kiss ignited, fierce. Forgiving. Not absolution, but start. We tumbled slow on the bungalow rug that night. Bodies reclaiming. Whispers weaving promises. Open book. Always. Summer sizzled with rebuilding. Joint therapy sessions, awkward at first, then cathartic. Wesley shared army tapes. Dad's voice crackling through static. Laughs. Regrets. Love unspoken. He'd want this, Wesley said. Us. Honest. Studio talks solidified. A loft downtown. My designs meeting his visuals. Harlan and Grant, he joked. Sounds legit. The climax brewed. Elena's shadow resurfaced. Email to Wesley. CC me. Gallery collab? For old times. Polite. Professional. He forwarded immediately. Your call. But I'm all in. I deleted. Trust flickering brighter. July 4th. Lake picnic. Fireworks over water. Our own bursting private. Lovemaking under stars. His compass tattoo against mine. North together. August heat wave. Agency crunch. Youth center launch party. Wesley there. Proud in the crowd. Toasting my speech on visibility. To roots, I said. Eyes on him. He mouthed back. To storms survived. Then, the storm hit. Late night call, his sister. Voice shaking. Wesley's in the ER. Car wreck. Drunk driver. Columbus General's halls reeked of antiseptic and fear. He lay bandaged. Ribs cracked. Eyes fluttering open to mine. Kyle. Hush. I gripped his hand. I'm here. Recovery stretched weeks. Bungalow, a nurse's ward. Me spooning soup. Reading Kerouac aloud. Vulnerability peaked. His tears at night. Scared I'll lose you to this fragility. Mine. You won't. We're solid. Fall leaves turned. Agency thriving. Studio lease signed. But Dad's letter haunted a final reckoning. I visited his grave. Wesley beside. Granite simple. Beloved father. He knew, I said. About us. Forgave. Wesley knelt. Placing wildflowers. Miss you, brother. Thanks for the fire. Winter whispered peace. Holidays hours. Tree with dual ornaments, army tags. Compass charms. New Year's at the Overlook. Champagne chilled. To trust reborn. we toasted. But fate's twist. Spring positive test. Not mine, but news from a clinic. Wesley, prostate early, treatable. We fight, I vowed, holding him as tremors hit. Climax came in chemo chairs, his hand in mine, bald head gleaming defiant. Love you, he'd rasp. Worth every scar. Remission declared June. Studio opening July. Ribbon cut by Aunt. Clients toasting Harlan and Grant. Visions united. Yet, the deepest cut lingered. A box from Elena, postmarked closure. Inside, Dad's old army photo, him and Wesley, young, arms slung, eyes bright with unspoken. Note, he loved you both. Be happy. Tears fell, but healing. Trust, reforged in fire, shone unbreakable. The studio loft pulsed with life that opening night, July 2017. Columbus skyline twinkling through floor-to-ceiling windows like 1,000 approving eyes. Exposed brick walls showcased our inaugural exhibit. My digital prints bleeding bold colors into Wesley's silver gelatin monochromes. Portraits of queer couples in Ohio's heartland. Hands intertwined against Rust Belt backdrops. Tagline unseen threads, etched in brass above the door. Clients mingled with craft cocktails. Aunt beaming in the corner. Her pie recipe adapted into mini tarts. You boys did it, she whispered, hugging us both. Proud as punch. Wesley, hatchet lean from chemo but radiating that whiskey warmth. Clinked glasses with me center floor. His hair was a velvet buzz, compass bracelet glinting under lights. To us, he murmured, lips brushing my ear amid the jazz quartet swell. The crowd blurred. It was just him, scarred, survived, mine. Post-party haze. We locked up, city hum fading as we drove home. Bungalow porch swing creaked under our weight. IPAs sweating in holders. Fireflies encore from Memorial. Think Dad's smiling? I asked, head on his shoulder. Wesley chuckled low. Grinning like the devil. 'Bout time you Harlans settled on something solid. Solid. The word anchored me. Post-remission. Life layered deeper. Morning runs along the Scioto. His steady pace matching mine. Evenings sketching side by side. Critiques turning flirtatious. Therapy continued, couples now. Unpacking Dad's ghost. He was by. I processed one session. Lived half-lives for safety. We won't. Wesley's nod. Full spectrum. Every shade. August brought agency expansion. Youth Center campaign viral. Billboards popping across Midwest. Interviews followed. Local paper profile. From loss to legacy. Kyle Harlan's design revolution. Wesley clipped it. Framed beside Dad's army pick. Now displayed proud. No shadows. But undercurrents stirred. Elena's collab note? We declined. Polite wall up. Then, a gallery invite. Her solo show in Chicago. Exposed, intimate portraits. Wesley hesitated. Then go? Closure. I agreed. Trust's test. Train ride north. Hands linked. Skyline yielding to lake views. Gallery sleek, white walls. Her work intimate. Nudes. Lovers' gazes. Echoes of our stolen nights. Elena approached. Elegant in silk. Smile genuine. Wes. Kyle. Stunning space you built. Small talk flowed. Her thriving career. Our studio buzz. No barbs, just respect. I pushed him, she admitted to me sidelong. To grow. You finished it. Back on the train. Wesley exhaled. Clean break. Felt it, I said. Kiss sealed it. Compartment curtains drawn. Fall deep in bonds. Studio commissions rolled. Brewery expansions. Non-profit rebrands. Even a book cover for a queer memoir, Wesley's Lens. My layout. Weekends escaped to the lake. Now ritual. Bonfires. S'mores charred just right. Stories swapped like embers. Remember that first kiss? He'd tease, pulling me onto his lap. Porch thunder, I'd laugh. You smelled like rain and trouble. And you? Pure fire. Thanksgiving anchored tradition. Aunt's farm. Extended now, his sister flying in. Her kids romping with fireflies early. Table groaned under turkey. Sides. Toasts to family redefined. Post-feast. Wesley and I slipped to the pond. Stars pricking velvet sky. Marry me? He asked. Ring simple. Platinum band etched with compasses entwined. Tears hot. Yes. God. Yes. Wedding brewed spring 18, small. Heartfelt. Elmwood Courthouse. Cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti. Vows under oaks. I choose you. Storms and all. Aunt officiated. Voice cracking. Friends hooped. Cake aunt's recipe layered. Honeymoon. Hocking Hills cabin. Trails hiked hand in hand. Nights tangled in quilts. World narrowed to us. Summer post-nuptials hummed content. Studio thriving. Agency partnership floated. Wesley's health scans clean. Celebratory road trip. Blues highway nod to Dad's dream. Memphis ribs. Beale Street blues. Motel mirrors fogged with passion. This life's the shot, he said. Camera clicking our reflection. But humanism's thread wove subtle. Youth center volunteer shifts. Mentoring kids with sketches and stories. One boy, 16 and scared, echoed my younger self. How'd you know? Wesley's arm around me. Felt it. Owned it. Lives touched. Ripples from our scars. Fall harvest. Package. Anonymous. Postmarked Boston. Inside. Dad's journal. Pages yellowed. Elena's note. Found in storage. For Kyle. From his father's truths. We read by firelight. Wesley's head on my knee. Entries spanned decades. Army confessions. Wes. My secret light. To chemo haze. Kyle's got the fire. Tell him I loved wide. Without apology. Final page. If Wesley loves him like I loved him once, let it be. Life's too short for half measures. Closure wept out. Grief. Grace. He knew, I whispered. Blessed us. Wesley kissed my palm. Human. All of us. Flawed. Fierce. Winter wrapped gentle. Holidays amplified. Tree groaning ornaments. Gifts thoughtful, a custom lens for him. Vintage sketchpads for me. New Year's Eve. Porch swing. Countdown fireworks distant. To trust, we toasted. To forever. Years folded forward. Studio expanded, satellite in Cincinnati. Apprentices mentored. Agency lead turned ownership stake. Wesley's book published. American Intimates. Queer Lives Framed Tender. My designs graced covers. Billboards. Kids. Not biological foster paths explored. A teen artist crashing our couch-turning family. Uncle Wes, he'd tease. Camera slung. Elmwood evolved. Pride flags on porches. Our bungalow rainbow lit. Dad's grave visited seasonal flowers. Stories shared. Miss you, I'd say. Wind whispered back, peace. Betrayal's scar? Faint now. Lesson etched. Trust earned in transparency. Love's a verb active. Enduring. One stormy dusk. Porch rain lashed. Wesley pulls me close. That first night changed everything. I smile, lips to his. For the better. Lightning cracks. We laugh into the thunder. Roots deep. Wings ready north. Together. In the end, it's not perfection, but presence. Two men. Mended. Mapping a life unapologetic. Dad's fire burns on in us. Unbroken.